The Turkish national team has defeated North Macedonia 4-0. It was a pounding. We're going to talk about that game, see how the players did, talk about the team selection and whatnot, and see how Turkey's looking going into this World Cup in 2026. Before we move any further with the starting 11, we do not know what the final 26 squad for the World Cup is going to be as of the making of this video and as of when this friendly was played. Vincent Montella has still not announced his squad and only has announced a 35-man preliminary roster that is currently training and playing these friendlies and whatnot. So theoretically, any of these players could potentially not make the final cut. There's a few locks that I think are guaranteed. So, but some of these guys are given a chance to see if they can. This is kind of like one final chance for some of these guys to see if Vincent Montella will bring him to the World Cup. So, keeping that in mind, this starting 11 was a lot of rotation player or like B team guys because Arda did not start. Kenan Yıldız was not even on the bench for this game. The captain Hakan Çalhanoğlu wasn't there, or he was there, but he was on the bench and came in as a late substitute. Ferdi Kadıoğlu was not on the bench. So we had a lot of missing pieces to the team. But despite that, the team was still able to get a commanding 4-0 victory. So that's good to know our B team is capable of getting results like that. So to start with, let's take a look at the starting 11 that Montella decided to put out in this friendly. So first of all, in goal, we have Bayındır, which is an interesting selection considering he has not played a game at all since November. And that was for Turkey. He hasn't played at all for Manchester United. For those of you who don't know, Altay Bayındır is Manchester United's backup goalkeeper. And despite that, he had a really good game this game. He made some solid saves and he was selected. Now, I think for the 2026 World Cup, we're going to have Uğurcan Çakır be our number one goalkeeper, and he's going to be playing most of the games. But it's good to know that Bayındır, even with not having played a game in like almost a year now, or not quite, but about that, is still able to play a pretty good game. But so taking a look at the back line, we've got Mert Müldür, who normally, he starts for the Turkish national team, but the other right back, Zeki Çelik, has had a really great season with Roma. So there's a chance that the starting right back position is kind of up in the air for this tournament. It could be Mert for some games, could be Zeki Çelik. We've also got Ozan Kabak on center back and Çağlar Soyuncu to make a center back pairing there. Now, I'm not expecting either of these guys to be the starting normal center backs at the World Cup. I'm expecting that to be Abdülkerim Bardakçı of Galatasaray, as well as Mehdi Demiral of Al Ahly. And honestly, I'm not even sure if Çağlar Soyuncu is going to make the World Cup final 26-man roster. So I'm assuming this was another test of that. And he was actually the captain of this game, Çağlar. On left back, we had Adnan Elmalı, who unfortunately went out with an injury around like the 27th minute mark or so in this game. And actually, Zeki Çelik came in as a sub for him, and Mert Müldür got shifted to the left back position, and Zeki Çelik played right back going forward. We've got a midfield of Salih Özcan from Borussia Dortmund, who normally isn't a starter for the Turkish national team, as well as Orkun Kökçü, who normally is a starter. And then on the attack, we had on the right wing Oğuz Aydın from Fenerbahçe, attacking midfield of Yunus Akgün, Can Uzun from Frankfurt on the left wing, who actually, Can Uzun is not normally a left winger, which is interesting that Montella chose to play him here, considering we have Kenan Yıldız, who's going to be our main left winger at this tournament. And then up top, we have Deniz Gül. Now, the question still does remain, who is going to be the starting striker for the Turkish national team? Because aside from Deniz Gül, Turkey does not have an out-and-about striker. And Deniz Gül is a very young, inexperienced player, so he is not, even though he's the only striker pretty much for the national team, he has not gotten a lot of starts. Montella has been opting to play Aktürkoğlu and Barış Alper Yılmaz as strikers, even though they're both wingers naturally. So this was kind of him giving Deniz Gül a chance to see what he can do. Now, right at the start of this game, Turkey looked very threatening and was on the attack right away, and this resulted in a goal at the 2-minute mark by Orkun Kökçü, which I'm sure made a lot of Beşiktaş fans happy because he is their only player that's probably going to make the final 26-man World Cup roster. So that was good for him. He had an amazing game. He was probably the second best player of the whole game, in my opinion, or maybe third or something like that. But yeah, he was great. And then following this, Turkey actually kind of struggled to retain possession, and North Macedonia kind of dominated possession. But despite this, it didn't really matter from North Macedonia because Turkey got a second goal in the 16th minute mark from Can Uzun. That's right. Can Uzun was the star of the show today. He was man of the match in my books. He was man of the match in my eyes. SofaScore has him as man of the match as well. He was phenomenal, and he was played out of position, mind you. He's normally an attacking midfield normally for Frankfurt, but he was class, and that goal was amazing. Just came in from off the left wing into the box barely, and just shot a banger of a goal into the back of the net. And so that's very great to see because John Uzun, I think this is his fifth game for the Turkish national team, and it was his first goal ever. And it might be the first time he's ever started for the Turkish national team, actually, in any game, including friendlies. So that is great to see that he had a great game. After this, unfortunately, Eden Elmalı did eventually in the first half get subbed out for an injury, as I mentioned earlier, for Zeki Çelik. This is very unfortunate. Eren Emel is more than likely not going to start for Turkey. Ferdi Kadıoğlu is our starting left back, and he just had a great season at Brighton. I think he got player of the season over there. One of the best, most consistent left backs in the Premier League. He's going to start for Turkey. But Eren Elmalı of Galatasaray is a very solid backup to Ferdi. And so it's not great to see that he went out with an injury. I hope it didn't look that major of an injury when he initially went down. He got up and continued playing, and then eventually they subbed him out, or like he asked to be subbed out because he was feeling pain. So hopefully it's not too bad, and he's fit by the time we actually get to the World Cup. But he looked really good up until his injury. It's a shame because he was playing really well. But then it's good that we have versatile players like Mert Mulder, who switched over to left back. Normally he's a right back, but can also play on the left back, and he was great. Mert Mulder actually had a really good game despite his new Eminem look for whatever reason. Now we got two motherfuckers on the Turkish national team that are sporting the Eminem. And throughout this first half, because eventually Bayındır got subbed out for Muhammed Şengeze to give him a chance, but throughout the time Bayındır played, he was really solid, like I mentioned earlier, which is great considering he hasn't played since November for the national team. He's barely played for Man. He played like a couple games at the start of the season for Man United whenever they were trying to buy lemons or figure out their goalkeeping situation. And so that's good to know that more than likely our main backup goalkeeper, it will be good to go whenever and can seemingly still pull out a great solid game even after not playing for a while. Now we do have to keep in mind we were playing against North Macedonia today, so not the biggest and most threatening of competition. So we do have to keep that in mind. But it is a solid team. They've got some great players on there. Elmas and Trudlinov, I thought was pretty good for them. Okay, and then at halftime, we had three different subs, I believe. Yes, three different subs. We had Irfan Can Kahveci, who I like to call Coffee Maker. So we had Coffee Maker come in for Yunus Akgün. Kaan Ayhan came in for Orkun Kökçü. And Samet Akaydın came in for Ozan Kabak. Ozan Kabak did not have a great first half. I don't even know if this was a sub for performance or just to give Samet Akaydın a chance to play and warm up, but Kabak did not look great. So I think it's going to be a decision Montella is going to make between bringing Kabak, Samet Akaydın, and Çağlar to be the fourth or maybe fifth center back for Turkey. Because I don't think Yusuf Akçiçek will make the cut, even though he's great. And we got Abdülkerim Bardakçı for sure, Mehdi Demiral. And so it's a matter of their backups. Now, personally, I think Samet Akaydın is not good. He is really bad, despite having a good performance today. He was decent. He was solid. He is very bad. I do not understand how and why he keeps getting called up to this national team. I'm starting to think that Montella and Akaydın just have a secret hot lovers relationship going on the side or something. I don't know, but that's why I'm thinking he might make the fourth or fifth center back choice, and then it would be between, or he would maybe be the third center back choice. Blech. So I'm thinking that might mean he's going to be the first backup that Montella brings, and then it's going to be between Kabak and Soyuncu, who he brings. And I'm thinking that after today, at least, he's probably leaning more towards Soyuncu, because Soyuncu was captain this game because we didn't have Hakan Çalhanoğlu to the very end. And he played really good despite having a rough season for Fenerbahce this past season, my club, as you can probably see. He was not great. He was, he did not get a lot of minutes, mainly, was the thing. And the few times he did play, he was okay, decent, but definitely a bit rusty, so that's kind of hindering him from making the final cut. Not too long after these subs were made, Coffee Maker made a beautiful assist over to Deniz Gül, which was just great. Blech. Not too long after these subs, Coffee Maker actually made a beautiful pass over to Deniz Gül, who slammed it into the back of the net. That's great to see Deniz Gül scoring goals. I never like when players are injured. It's always a sad thing. But whenever Samu from Porto got injured, I actually got a little bit happy because I was like, oh, Deniz Gül is going to get some minutes now. That's good news for the Turkish national team. And he really didn't do that great for Porto the second half of the season whenever he did get more minutes. But he got a few goals here and there, and he won the league with them. And so it's good to see it for his development, him scoring in this game too. And it was a good goal. It was solid. But yeah, that was a great pass from Coffee Maker. Coffee Maker's also had a bit of a rough past season. He got fell out with Fenerbahce and got loaned out to Kasımpaşa and had a meh season, barely avoided relegation. But he seems to still perform very well for the national team, which is great to see. I love Coffee Maker. Great last name. Uh, now, another one of the highlights for me, probably the second best player on Turkey's side, was definitely Barış Alper Yilmaz. Now, Barış Alper Yilmaz of Galatasaray, undeniably talented player. He's really great, goal scoring threat. He's very versatile. The only flaw with him is the dude is a dunderhead and makes some really dumb decisions a lot of the time when playing. But he actually made some really good decisions. There was one moment where he was running at goal, and I thought he was going to go for goal, which would have been not smart in my view and would not have resulted in a goal. But instead, he waited and held up the ball and passed it over to whoever got the next goal. I think it was who was it? It must have been Deniz Gül, or no, that Coffee Maker got it. Well, or who? Maybe Coffee Maker assisted Yilmaz. I don't know, but regardless, he did it. He was great. He was excellent. He had a great game. He looked very smart on the ball, really great on the ball. That was definitely our second best player on this game, Barış Alper Yılmaz. Now, another one of the main positives I took away from this game was Aral Şimşir looked really great when he got subbed in the 63rd minute. He plays for Midtjylland, and this is his first appearance for the Turkish national team, and he looked really solid. He was probably in the second half of the game, the best player or one of the best players for Turkey for sure. And he came close to scoring a goal or like getting a goal contribution in general a few times. So that's great that because he's had a great past season at Midtjylland, Aral Şimşir. So that's good to see that he's getting opportunities with the national team and he's showing up for him and putting in good performances. So he had a really great game. That was a big upside that I saw today. Arda also looked great today. This was his first game coming back from injury. He kind of had his season cut a bit short over at Real Madrid due to an injury, but it was reported he'd be fit in time for the World Cup, which seems to be the case here. He got subbed in the 62nd, 63rd minute, something like that. And he didn't get a goal contribution, but he looked really solid. He looked very threatening right out the gate as soon as he got subbed in, and the Turkish fans adored him. The crowd went crazy. It was almost like a reverse Kukurea, because like whenever Kukurea is playing against Germany somehow or like a German team, he's just booed when he's on the ball immediately every single time. And it was kind of like a reverse of that, where every time Arda had the ball, there was a lot of cheers happening. So that was cool to see. That is definitely the team star boy. And yeah, he looks good coming back from injury, so that's good to see him having a successful comeback from injury. Demir Ege Tikmaz, I don't think is going to make the final cut for the World Cup. He's a former Besiktas player, currently plays in the Portuguese league. He's very good, very good. He was not that great this game. I didn't notice him too much, and I don't think he's going to make the final cut. Now, someone who might make the final cut would be Muhammed Şengezer, goalkeeper. It's between him and Mert Günok for that third choice goalkeeper spot. And he got subbed in during the 63rd minute, and he had a fine game. He didn't really have to do much, honestly. I mean, the game was kind of wrapped up by the time he got subbed in. But yeah, he's had a really solid season for Başakşehir, so he's definitely a good option if Montella wants to go for him instead of Mert Günok as the third choice. Overall, I was glad to see the defense looked really solid and disciplined today, because normally that's one of Turkey's biggest weaknesses, or Turkey. Normally that's one of Turkey's biggest weaknesses is the defensive line can look a bit shaky and can lose concentration and just let dumb goals go through. But everyone looked pretty solid today overall, except for Kabak, like I mentioned. Overall, the players I was the least impressed with today was Oğuz Aydin, Kabak, as I mentioned earlier, Akgün, Özcan. Oz, I mentioned in that group of players, he did get an assist, which is great, but he just really didn't look too threatening and not noticeable the rest of the game. However, I don't think that should mean he shouldn't come to the World Cup. I think he should make the final squad, because especially if Eren Elmalı is injured, because not last season, but the season before with Fenerbahce, as I've mentioned, and you can see I'm a Fenerbahce fan, under Jose Mourinho, we had some injuries, and he was needed as a makeshift right back, and he played very solidly as a makeshift right back under Jose Mourinho. And Montella has played him at right back before as well. Montella's used him in the same way as well, so he is a very versatile player. And I think especially if we're going to have Aaron Elmola injured, which I don't think he'll be super injured, but regardless, Olzaiden is definitely a great addition to have to the squad, but I just don't think he had a great game. He hasn't had a too good of a season with Fenerbahce this past season. But anyways, that is about it for this video. Overall, really happy with this result. The team is looking really solid and good and looking coherent going into the World Cup 2026, which is great to see. You know, as an American who's a huge fan of the Turkish national team, this is going to be interesting that they're in the same group. So I do think Turkey is going to top the group though, but I'll be cheering for both because I guess I'll just be changing my jersey whenever one team scores. And please don't forget to subscribe and like and comment if you like this video and want more Turkish national team content in English. Going to be trying to make a lot more videos now that the World Cup's coming up with that, so stay tuned for that. Don't miss out. Bye bye.